Hey everybody, welcome back. I know what you're gonna say, so go ahead, get it off your chest. You know, Bohemian, you're such a Johnny come lately. This is old news. We already know what happened with Trump and the impeachment, and he was acquitted, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I know. I know this is a week late. But I didn't spend several hours last week on Wednesday, the 10th of February, putting together this video before all this was before the acquittal was announced. I didn't spend all that time doing the research, recording, and editing just to have my computer spit in my face and say, "Bruh, we're not uploading that. No, you're gonna get kicked out of YouTube. You're gonna get banned." But no, um, I had a lot of technical problems last week. I was able to resolve those problems. Everything's been upgraded. So I thought, I spent all that time putting that video together. I'm going to upload it anyways, even if it is a little bit old, because I think people really do need to know the truth. There's a lot of misinformation going on right now. I've seen a lot of conservatives and a lot of centrists and even some leftists, questioning the authority and questioning the veracity of this impeachment, whether it's constitutional or not. Hint, hint, yes, it's constitutional. That's what this video is about. It was totally okay for them to impeach Donald Trump the second time. Watch my video. I go into detail as to exactly why, when the precedent was set for this, how the precedent was set for this. It happened in 1876. Enjoy the video. I hope you like it. Definitely share it to make sure other people know the truth. There are numerous pundits out there, so-called professionals, saying that this was unconstitutional, and they are wrong. It was constitutional. Whether you agree with it or not, it was constitutional. So, enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Hello everybody, welcome back. So, the latest hot button issue going on in the United States is the current impeachment trial of Donald J. Trump. Now, I know there has been a lot of virtual ink spilled on this topic, conversations about the constitutionality of it. Is it a scam? Is it for real? Is it a farce? What's the point? Can they even do this? The man's not a president. He doesn't hold any office. He's now a private citizen. Can the Senate actually impeach someone who is no longer a member of the federal government? Surely, what we know of impeachment is that you must be a member of the government, either federal or state, for you to be impeached, right?
Wrong.
Well, let's get down to it. First things first, we need to take a look at what the Constitution actually says about impeachment. Well, the first mention of it is Article 1, Section 2, Clause 5, right here. It's literally just one sentence. The House of Representatives shall choose their Speaker and other officers, and shall have the sole power of impeachment. Well, what the hell does that mean? Well, for a little more clarification, let's take a look at Section 3, Clause 6, right here. 6 and 7. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. Remember that. 2/3 majority. That's a very important number. Next, Clause 7. Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office, and, here's the good part, disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. But the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. So, even though Donald J. Trump is no longer president, he has already left office, he's left the White House,
The idea is that the Democrats seem to think that they can prevent him from ever running for any office in the government ever, whether federal or state, if they are able to indict him and he is found guilty of the charges brought against him. Also, as the last sentence here in Clause 7, he will be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment. So the possibility of a civil suit seems to exist. And that's where things get a little bit spicy, and I think that's kind of what the Democrats are hoping to do, is to be able to prevent him from ever holding office, and then maybe even trying to bring him into a civil suit and perhaps put him in a prison or something. I don't know. I certainly don't know what the hell's going on in the minds of most Democrats. I don't think anyone does. I don't think they know what's going on in their minds. So let's get down to this question of constitutionality. If Trump is no longer president and no longer holds any government office, can they even impeach him? I think that's one of the biggest questions that a lot of people have been asking. Is it constitutional? Well, yes, it is. Sorry to disappoint all of the Trump fans, but it is absolutely constitutional. You see, way back in 1876, the precedent for what became known as late impeachment was set against this man, Mr. William W. Belnap. Now, Mr. William Belnap here, he was an officer in the military. He served during the Civil War. He was a Union officer, quite successful, making it all the way up to, I believe, Brigadier General, which is, I believe, 2 stars in the Army. So a very successful commander. After the war, he went into politics, and in 1869, he was made the Secretary of War by President Ulysses S. Grant. So what happened? Why did he get impeached? Well, back on July 15th, 1870, the government gave power to the Secretary of War to give and appoint licenses and contracts to merchants in order to do business with soldiers at military camps along the western frontier, bordering the regions of what was known back then as the, quote, Indian Territory. And that's where our story takes us. A man named Caleb Marsh approached Mr. Belknap, and through whatever means necessary, he got a contract to be the sole merchant in a place called Fort Sill, basically handing him a monopoly. He would be the only one authorized for any soldier to do business with, meaning he could jack up all of his prices and turn over a huge profit, which was why, of course, he wanted the contract. Well, there was a small problem. You see, there was another man named John Evans who already had that contract. Well, what to do, what to do? So, Mr. Belknap, Mr. Marsh, and Mr. Evans went in on a 3-way illegal deal, wherein Mr. Evans would keep his contract as the sole proprietor, the only merchant available to do business with the soldiers at Fort Sill. However, $12,000 annually of his profits would be handed over to Mr. Marsh. Mr. Marsh would then hand over $6,000 of that 12 to none other than Mrs. Belknap. So, of course, this is massively, insanely illegal. And yes, he does eventually get caught. And officially in February of 1876, an investigation was launched into the War Department. Testimonials were given about our 3 co-conspirators, Mr. Belknap, Marsh, and Evans. On March 2nd, the morning of March 2nd, Belknap goes to the White House, hands in his letter of resignation to President Grant. President Grant accepts his resignation. End of story, right? Not so fast. You see, we still have to get to the impeachment. And that's exactly what happened. That same day, March 2nd, 1876, with all of the evidence that the House of Representatives had, they went ahead with the articles of impeachment against William Belknap, even though he had already resigned from his post that morning, and they knew it. He was officially impeached that same day that he resigned from office. Now, of course, this caused a bit of a hullabaloo in Washington, D.C. Many people were kind of upset that, hey, this guy is a private citizen. How can we impeach him? The exact same conversations that are being had right now in the United States. But eventually, the Democrat Party won out, and in May of 1876, and funny, the Democrats, again, May of 1876, the Senate had an official vote to put Belknap on trial. However, this is where the silver lining is for Donald Trump and all of his supporters. Belknap was acquitted. You remember what I said a few minutes ago about needing a 2/3 majority? Well, the Democrats didn't quite get 2/3. They missed it. He was acquitted. End of the story. He goes home a free man. And the exact reason why, several people testified and said they simply believed that the Senate went too far, and the Senate had no authority to officially impeach and convict a private citizen who had already resigned from his office. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen this time. I have serious doubts that the Democrats will manage to scrounge up a 2/3 majority vote. It's not going to happen. Or at least I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that many Republicans will lean with the Democrats, though I'm sure there are a few. So what is the point? I mean, surely the Democrats aren't that stupid that they think they'll actually win and get a 2/3 majority vote, do they? Well, probably not. So then why are they doing it? Why bother? Why waste the time? Why waste the money and the energy and the effort? Well, if you've ever studied anything about magic, you'll know what the expression sleight of hand means, and the different forms of sleight of hand. There are about 7 types.
6, misdirection, to lead attention away from a secret move. And 7, switch, to secretly exchange one object for another.
I believe this is exactly what's happening. This is misdirection. We're being given all this media coverage of impeachment trials, impeachments that will most likely go nowhere and have no result. So what are they misdirecting from? Well, ask yourself, what's the other big hot button issue happening right now in Washington, D.C.? Well, that would be this right here. Democrats unveiling details of a $1.9 trillion stimulus package. Now, if you remember, just in December, it was just December. It's not that long ago. It feels like it's been a long time, but it was December when President Trump signed off on the previous stimulus package. Remember that? Yeah, that was 2 months ago. Why do we need another $1.9 trillion? And where the hell are we going to get $1.9 trillion? Do you remember all the pork barrel bull that was in the last stimulus package that Trump redlined and underlined and said, look, this shouldn't happen. We don't need to be approving this kind of stuff. It's a waste of money. Remember that? Millions of dollars that went to foreign governments? I believe it was gender studies programs in Pakistan. You remember that, right? So why the hell does the government need another $1.9 trillion stimulus package? Where's the rest of that money going? Surely the United States citizens aren't getting $1.9 trillion. Where's it going? How much more pork barrel is being written into this package? That's the sleight of hand. Watch the left hand. Look at the birdie. Look at the birdie. The right hand's already got you fooled. You're over there looking at the nice, pretty assistant lady, and the magician's already fooled you and performed his trick. And you missed it. Now, this is just my personal opinion. I could be completely wrong. I don't live in Washington, D.C. I don't know any politicians. This is just what I would do if I were trying to get a bunch of pork barrel garbage passed through the government without letting the people know. I would fool you. I would get you looking at something silly, something that will grab the headlines and catch your attention, your bread and circus. Yeah? Here you go. You've got your circus. All 3 rings of it. But I want to know what you guys think. Leave a message down in the comments. Tell me what you think. You think there's any truth to what I'm saying? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think there's something else going on? Do you agree that it's sleight of hand, but there's a different tactic, a different ploy, I should say? Or do you think the Democrats actually believe they're going to really impeach Donald Trump? Do you think they can actually pull it off, that they will get 2/3 majority? What's your opinion? Open forum. It's your time to talk now. You've already listened to me blather on. Tell me what you think. And if you like the video, go ahead, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. Thank you for your time. Until next time, I remain the Neo-Bohemian.